Here we are on Brunch with Brian this morning, and we are live, as we always are, on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at this time, or maybe sometimes an hour earlier. Today I'm going to talk about, today's sort of been our theme has been telephone week, ever since we did our Teaching Tuesdays on Telephone Tuesday. It was actually National Telephone Tuesday on Tuesday. So we had a really amazing Teaching Tuesday session. And as I said yesterday, if you want to get a copy of that session, if you want to get a link, look at Willow is very involved today. If you want to get a link to that, go ahead and let me know. Go ahead and send an email. And this is how you can get a hold of us anytime, is send us an email at support@thewolfcouple.com. And you can always also text us. You can always, 888-RICH-NOW is our number. You can always call 888-RICH-NOW. And then, of course, you can always text us at 480-789-3649. So you can watch for those numbers to get a hold of any information. But for sure, this Teaching Tuesday, if you want a link to it, I want you to listen to it because it was really strong on the telephone. And telephone is how you make money in this business. This is a phone business. And this morning, I'm going to go over the 5 things that really make a difference, make such a huge impact in your career, in your success in this business. And that is revolving around the telephone. So we talked about a few big points. You know what I like to do sometimes when I'm looking at a subject and I want to sort of have a comprehensive approach to it is I'll look at who, what, when, where, and why. Okay, so who, what, when, where, and why. So when I'm looking at those things, who and when are what I'm going to focus on today. How and what we kind of talked about yesterday and on our Teaching Tuesday. But let me touch on those as well. So I want you to, here's my big 5 tips on being really good on the phone. Okay, in advance, all right, well, basically have the best scripts. So start with the best scripts. That's really the what you need to say. And when we say who, what, when, where, why, this is the what to say that you're going to be using. So stick to the scripts. One of the big secrets of success is sticking to the scripts. So stick to the scripts and make sure that you, anytime you wander away from those scripts, I want you to build rapport. Don't get me wrong. When you're talking about, the weather and the house and your kids or whatever, that's great. That's building rapport. That's not obviously in the scripts. But when you're talking about the deal, stick to the scripts. Stick to the scripts, and that way I'm sure that you're not saying things that may be unprofessional. All right, so that's the number one thing of being good on the phone. And that's the primary consideration, is just stick to the scripts. Now, before you get on the phone, there's 2 prep steps that I want you to take that will help you be a lot more confident, because write this down, guys. Confidence is number 1. Being confident on the phone is the difference between getting the deal and not getting the deal. So how do you be confident? 2 ways to really build up your confidence. Number 1 is go role play the scripts. Okay, in advance. And there's a couple of different ways you can role play scripts. You can role play with an encouraging partner, or we have the videos in the What to Say system that you can role play. We actually have the characters asking the questions and going through the closing call. So you can have the video playing and you can sit there and read it and go through it and role play with the character. Or even just role playing it out loud, just reading it out loud in front of a mirror or something. But remember, you don't have to look at yourself. On the phone, you can be reading that script dead on. Okay, don't even take your eyes off the page, because it's when you look up and stuff that sometimes you lose your spot. All right, so stick to the scripts, role play in advance. That's number 2. Number 3 is right before you get on the phone, use strong affirmations. That will put you in the right mindset. Okay, and having the right mindset is a key to being successful. Confidence is number 1. So having the right mindset. The affirmations I like is, number 1 is, I am a real estate winner. If you don't have that written down and posted somewhere around where you make your calls, I would recommend doing it right away. Okay, so I am a real estate winner, post it. And then I am a master caller. I love making closing calls. That's another great one. Lynette always says, Lynette's favorite affirmation in the whole wide world is, I love making closing calls. And that's because she knows how powerful closing calls are. She knows that closing calls, if you are effective on your calls, that leads to deals. So that's why she loves closing calls, and because she's good at it. And as you do more of them and get better at it, you get to love them more and more because they mean money to you. So you get to love closing calls as you grow in this business for sure. Even though in the beginning, it might not be your favorite part of the business. So think of some other affirmations that mean a lot to you. Again, I am a real estate winner for sure. Everybody should be saying that a lot. I am a master caller. I love making closing calls. I look forward to making closing calls, that kind of thing. So any affirmations like that. So that's 3 steps. Now, the other 2 steps I haven't talked about, and I didn't talk about yesterday, but who you're talking to and when you're talking to them. Okay, so that's 2 important factors to being successful on the phone. One is when you're talking to people. And that is, I want you to just make a ritual out of it, make it a habit, make a regular routine out of it. I know Caleb shares how he is making calls and getting appointments and things with seller. Hey, good morning, Caleb. Good to see you here. Chime in, folks. I always like to see your comments. So when you are making these calls, which is really the foundation of your entire real estate investing business, is your calls, you should have specific times that are laid out, that are specified for calling. So I would pick maybe 2 times a week. Maybe if you Saturday, a lot of times you're out there doing deal meetings or driving for dollars. So Saturday is a great day for calling as well because you can get a hold of a lot of people. So if you're willing to put in, 2, 3, 4 hours on a Saturday, you could make calls Saturday. But remember, this has to be a habit thing, so you have to really stick to it. Maybe a Monday night from 6 to 8. Maybe you always make your calls, start off your week the right way. You make calls every Monday night or every Monday and every Thursday from noon to 1, something like that. A good sample schedule, and this is when we're talking about schedule. And when I say this, the 3 keys to success, stick to the steps, stick to the scripts, and stick to your schedule, we're talking about 2 of them today. So sticking to the scripts and sticking to your schedule are so vital to your success when you do that. So schedule a couple of, at least 2 times, at least, a half an hour a time. It depends on how many leads you have to call. Sometimes you have a lot of leads to call and a lot of things to follow up on, and sometimes you don't have as much. But always start off with the calls, even if you have only 2 calls to make. But then what can you also do? If you only have 2 closing calls to make, hey, you can always make opening calls. You can always make FSBO calls. You can always make calls to listing realtors. You can always make calls to landlords under houses for rent. These people are not hard to find. They're advertising their property for sale. So anytime you're sitting down to call, I'd probably want you to make some closing calls and make some opening calls too. It's good. Now, if you have somebody like a VA who's really doing a good job making all your opening calls, that's great. But remember, there's different kinds of opening calls a VA cannot make for you, like listing realtors. Some VA is not going to be able to establish a relationship for you and build and network with a local realtor. So those are all your opening calls. So that's always a good one to call on your calling times. So specify a couple of calling times. Morning. Hey, how you doing, William? Good to see you here. Hello and good morning. Guys, so do you have specified times to make your calls? Do you have a written out schedule posted where you know what times you're supposed to be putting in your hours per week? If you put in, it's amazing how much you can get accomplished in 4 or 5, focused action hours. So 4 or 5 hours a week minimum. Some weeks you might be a little more if you have a lot going on, but this business does not require a ton of time because you don't have to commute when you're on the phone. You can close these deals on the phone a lot of times. So again, and setting a regular time in your schedule, at least 2 times per week to make calls specifically targeted for calls. Now, I do want you to have maybe, 3 or 4 times of the week that you're devoting to your real estate, but at least 2 that specifically say, okay, these are for calling. The first thing I'm going to do is call. Okay. Now the other, and then the other aspect is who you're talking to. Okay. So if you're talking to the hottest leads, the best sellers, you're going to have better results. And so that's why I want you to, get good at marketing and get good at targeting the right people, finding the right realtors who are going to bring the right sellers to you. talking to enough landlords where you're finding the better ones. So you're gonna, as you grow in the business, you're gonna kind of realize where the better deals are, and you may have a program. And I'm gonna probably talk about this in our upcoming event. I'm gonna talk about getting possibly a software program that can help you find leads. There's some pretty inexpensive ones out there right now that I might be able to help you out with, and so I want you to start thinking about maybe using a software program too if you're not already. Some of you guys are already using some kind of software. So, and seller, okay. Would you get, yes, okay. Guys, anytime you have a really good deal that looks good and you need some kind of a help with it, especially you loyal guys, and if you've already got our what to say and what to do system, that actually comes with a couple of coaching calls. And there's a decent chance if you have our what to say and what to do system, you maybe didn't even use your coaching calls yet. So we are open to doing some coaching calls if you guys have complicated deals that you need some kind of assistance with or help with financing or something. We're always happy to talk about that. Awesome. That is great. Williams just said he had an awesome call. So remember, the steps of those calls is you're getting on that call. It's really important to build that rapport, establish credibility, then just stick to the script, go through the script, get the right answers, and then set that appointment to get out there and do your deal meeting. So I've covered some really good stuff today, guys, and that's really the heart of your business is these calls, obviously. And so that's why this week has sort of been telephone week since we kind of kicked it off with Teaching Tuesday. Again, if you joined us late, if you want a copy of that Teaching Tuesday session, I would highly recommend. It's one of the best Teaching Tuesdays we've done in a long time. Just you can always email us at support@thewolfcouple.com. You can always call us at 888-RICH-NOW, 888-RICH-NOW. So get a hold of us and we'd be happy to send that to you because that's some awesome training. Just to do a recap from today, if you joined us late, 5 keys to success on the phone is who you're talking to. So get good at marketing, figure out who the better people are. We talk about this all the time, and cover this often. When you're talking to them, so set a couple of specific times in your schedule to make your calls and really stick to that. Make a lot of calls every week. And if you don't have enough closing calls, you can always make opening calls and you can always call listing realtors. There's tons of listing realtors, on properties all around the country that you could be calling and developing relationships with. Then in terms of the actual physical call, the making of the call, your expertise will be exponentially grown by role playing, sticking to the scripts, and using affirmations right before you get on the phone. So that's the last 3 tips that I'm going to give you. Just read over those scripts and role play them with other people, someone who's encouraging, or the videos. Get good at them, get comfortable with them, get comfortable saying them out loud, not just reading them off the page. And very soon you'll be using them to great effect when you're talking to the right people. You're talking to enough people. Remember, we want you talking to 5 or 10 sellers a week. That's what you should be shooting for. And how hard is it to talk to 10 sellers a week? That's not even one and a half a day. So I know you can do it. And once you talk to enough people, you just get better and you find the best deals and then you close them. But don't forget your affirmations so that you're going into these calls with confidence. That makes a huge difference. So say your affirmations right before you get on the phone and you're going to be good with the scripts and you're just going to stick to the script. So awesome. So I'm great on the phone. That's a simple affirmation. Let's do Lynette's. In honor of Lynette, let's do Lynette's. I love making closing calls. Let's do that one. I love that one too. So ready? Now we always say our affirmation 3 times and we do it on 3. Ready? I love making closing calls on 3. 1, 2, 3. I love making closing calls. I love making closing calls. I love making closing calls. See, now, if you don't really normally think that way, it's amazing how just saying it 3 times like that with some confidence can really start changing your mind and changing your emotions around those calls. So now we like to do our deep breathing, 3 deep breaths. Join me. Deep breath in. And always put a big smile on your face. Good and healthy for you. When you let it go, relax your shoulders, your arms. Another deep breath in. Good. Hold it in. Let it go. One more. Oh, it feels so good. Always gets your day going or keeps your day going in an invigorating way. Now, I do want to touch on one other thing. Guys, we did have an event coming up in 2 weeks on September 22nd. A lot of you signed up for that event. We did have to change the date. Two things came up that really changed things. One was our daughter-in-law and our son announced they were pregnant. We have our very first grandbaby on the way. Yay! So we're very excited about that. She decided to put this baby shower at exactly the wrong time and sent out the invitations before we could have anything to do with it. We have actually people coming in out of town and staying at the house and everything. So the baby shower kind of was exactly the wrong timing for that event. Then another thing that happened was we were getting a ton of people who can't do Fridays. And I totally understand that. A lot of people have a schedule, and you work Monday through Friday. And we've never done one on a Saturday for a long, long time, but we have worked it out. We used to have an obligation on Saturday, so we worked it out. We wanted to do it on a Saturday, so you don't have to take work off or anything. I really want to have a really big turnout on this event, even though it's a Zoom call. I'm trying to walk a fine line here because I want to do a lot of interaction, but I don't want people to miss this event because we haven't done one in a while and I'm covering some really crucial stuff. So now it's going to be October 28th. We're basically putting it back a month. Sorry. I know if you're really looking forward to it and it was coming up in a couple of weeks, it's going to be now next month. But it's going to be an awesome, truly awesome one-day event. It's a Zoom event. Write this on your calendar, Saturday, October 28th. Now you can go on homeinvestingacademy.com and sign up for it. And if the date's wrong in there, don't worry about it when you sign up. We have you on the list and we know you're holding your space for October 28th. Anybody who's already signed up for it, don't worry about signing up for it again for the new date. We're automatically transferring you. I know we had already a lot of people, but this is hopefully going to work better for people because, again, it's on a Saturday and a lot more people will be able to be available for that. So just want to make that a quick announcement. Awesome to see everybody. I know you guys always have so much great things to say. Reach out to us. Yes, William. And hey, good morning, Isabel. Always great to see Full Price Properties. And great to see all you guys here. So, and Dave, hey, awesome to see you, Dave. Great to see you here. So let's have a great weekend. I mean, talking about phone calls was really important today because the weekend is all about making phone calls on Friday, Saturday, and then getting out there and getting some deals. So until I see you on Monday around the same time, again, sometimes I'm an hour earlier due to scheduling issues. It can't always be the exact time, but probably I'll be here at this exact time on Monday and we'll share a lot of more great information. So until then, keep expecting success, getting awesome training. And what are you going to do this weekend? Take action, like Lynette always says. So we'll see you on Monday.